What's good, everyone? It's Zach, and welcome back to Grailboundgaming for video pickups number 9. Now look, I know it's been a while since I've done a pickups video for the channel, but I got a lot of games that I gotta show you all that I've been able to pick up over the past few months. And look, just like Muhammad Ali, this will be the greatest variety of video game pickups that you will ever see from a solo content creator on YouTube. Believe that. I'm talking about 100 plus video games across 17 different consoles. And look, this isn't one of those type of collection or pickups videos that you see some content creators do where they'll show you all a bunch of games that they've acquired only to mention that they are going to sell them off for profit. No, every single game that I'm showing in this video is going straight to my personal video game collection. So yeah, the small talk is cheap. I think it's time that we dive in. Without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, everybody, let's get into it. So I first want to start off by showing a few of the non-video game but video game related items. First thing, this is the newest mini console for my collection, the NES Classic. This comes with 30 classic NES games that you can see here. And I was able to actually pick this up on Facebook Marketplace for $40, which is pretty much half of what it goes for in this condition. I do hope that maybe one day I could find one with a better box, or just, you know, buy just strictly the box. But at least for $40, this came with an extra third-party controller you could see right there, and of course the original controllers in there. So yeah, not bad for a Facebook Marketplace pickup. I'm definitely satisfied with it for now, and yeah, I look forward to setting it on the shelf next to my SNES Classic. All right, next up, this is for the Nintendo Switch, and this is the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword Joy-Cons. I was able to also get this for $40 on Facebook Marketplace. I believe it retails for $80 still. It's brand new, completely brand new. The seal is still on there, so it hasn't been tampered with. I'll be the first one to use this. I'm excited because I get to use this and play Skyward Sword on the Switch, so it can't get any better than this. Okay, so the next item that I want to show is really a handheld console, and I already have one of these in my collection, but I've been wanting to get one of this color for the longest, and that is the lime green Gameboy Color handheld, which is really cool. I was able to pick this up at a garage sale. It was in pretty bad condition. There were stickers all over it, and I ended up removing all the stickers, cleaning it to make it look in the condition that it's in for this video. And it even came with a single Game Boy Color game, which I will definitely show shortly. So yeah, happy to have this in the collection now for sure. And you know, at some point I'm gonna have to get a new back because I have tape on it to keep it closed. The tab for the battery cover here actually broke off, so I'll be looking into getting a replacement pretty soon. So yeah, now since I mentioned the Game Boy Color, let's go through the new games that I've been able to get. Starting off with Pokemon Pinball. I was able to pick this up from a pawn shop actually earlier this week, and man, I think they were selling it for $20. It goes for like $30, $35 loose. But yeah, happy to have this in the collection. This next game right here, our Game Boy game, is really the one that came with the lime green Game Boy Color handheld, and that is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Yep, it's the original Game Boy game, if you will, not the Game Boy Color. Now, the next Game Boy Color game that I want to show is actually a replacement for one that's in my collection. So this is my childhood copy of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Deluxe version for the Game Boy Color. And as you can see, the front label is pretty worn. And as an adult, I'm like, hey, I really don't want to own this game in this condition. It means so much to me. So I ended up, that's right, ended up picking up another loose copy of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Deluxe, and look at that, it is super clean. That label looks amazing. So happy to have this in the collection to replace my original childhood copy. Now, if you've seen my retro video game only pickups video, then you will know that I am on a mission to complete the subset of the Pokemon Game Boy Color games. And I know that I showed Pokemon Pinball at the beginning of this video, but what I'm really referring to is the other Pokemon games that you'll find on Game Boy Color. And yeah, these are the pickups that I've been able to acquire over the past few months. Starting off with Pokemon Blue. right here loose. Next up, Pokemon Yellow. This is the Pikachu edition right here, which is really cool. Then I also was able to pick up Pokemon Silver edition right here. And then the last one that I was able to acquire is Pokemon Gold. So that means that the only game that I'm missing as far as Pokemon Game Boy Color games is the Crystal version. So I'll be on the hunt for that in the coming months for sure. Okay, now I want to shift over to the N64. Was able to pick up Blast Corps Loose. This is pretty much one of those games where there's this like nuclear missile vehicle that you have to clear the path for, right? So the vehicle itself travels in like a predetermined path, and you have to use like robots and other types of vehicles and things like that to basically remove obstacles, buildings, you name it, in order to make a clear path for this vehicle. So yeah, it has a bunch of levels, really cool, unique game for the N64. Okay, so the next N64 game is Hybrid Heaven. In this game, you play pretty much as this hybrid being who has both human and alien DNA. And the reason of this is because there's this alien race or species called the Gargantuans. And the Gargantuans want to actually take over Earth. And their way of doing it is to basically take human DNA, fuse it with alien DNA to create this new hybrid species. And they want to start with the United States, right? They want to start by going after the president and his cabinet. So you pretty much play as, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, a hybrid human. And he learns of these plans from the aliens and decides to take matters into his own hands to infiltrate an underground facility that's in Manhattan, New York. So pretty interesting game. I believe this game was also believed to be the first Metal Gear Solid game. But as we know, Metal Gear Solid came out on the PS1. So I believe this game started off as that, and then it ended up like changing and becoming a new game. At least that's the speculation anyway. But nonetheless, if you collect for the N64, definitely take a look at Hybrid Heaven. All right, then I have Castlevania here, and then Banjo-Tooie. I still need to get the first Banjo-Kazooie game. I did have a copy, but come to find out, one of the tabs on the bottom was broken. So I was like, hey, I'm not gonna keep this, I'm gonna return it. So yeah, those are all of the N64 games. Now, I definitely want to go over all the NES games because even though it is the newest console in my collection, I'm still having a ton of fun collecting and playing games for it. So starting off with 3D World Runner, this is a very like trippy 3D type style game where you're running into the screen and things are kind of like coming at you. If you are familiar with Space Harrier, it's similar to that style, but it's for the NES. So yeah. Then I have Star Force. This is a really cool shoot 'em up for the NES. Thunderbirds, right? This is exactly from the TV show from back in the day. But yeah, this is also another shoot 'em up as well. Then there is Cobra Triangle. This was actually developed by Rare. So, you know, like I showed Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day. If you all are familiar with like Rare, you know, and their involvement, this is actually one of the games that they played. This is a boat racing game that has combat in it, right? So you can actually shoot down other boats. You can take down a few bosses. So it's a really unique game for the NES. Then there's this really cool, unique game called Zexis, which is this right here. And this is actually a combination of like a side-scroller platformer as well as a shoot 'em up. It combines both together, very unique. In this game, there's this alien species that's trying to take over the Earth, and you play as this like Star-Lord or warrior figure, so to speak, who's you know, wanting to defend the Earth from the invasion of these different alien species. So if you collect for the NES, definitely look out for this one. This is a very unique one to get that I hear a lot of people talking about. Very affordable too. All right, next up is Conquest of the Crystal Palace, where you pretty much play as this like prince here, and he wants to reclaim his throne. There's this evil overlord that's taken the throne and taken over, you know, his kingdom. So the goal is to make it back to the Crystal Palace and confront the evil being here. So pretty cool game right there. Then I had to pick up Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Out of all of the Castlevania games on the NES, this is probably the one that you will most likely find out in the wild, whereas the other two can be a little bit challenging to come by, but you could still find them. So happy to have that. Now that I have 2, I need to get 1 and 3. And then there's DuckTales. So happy to have this Capcom game. I think I have DuckTales on the PS3, like the remastered version, but I'm excited to go back and play this original one for sure. So looking forward to that. DuckTales 2 is very pricey. I don't know if I'll ever get it, but I'll try. We'll see what happens. Now it's time to move into some PlayStation 1 games, starting off with 40 Winks. I think it's so interesting that on this game it says move over Mario because it is a platformer and it's challenging, I believe, Super Mario 64, which is hilarious. But in this game, you play as this boy and girl called Rough and Tumble, and they're going up against this evil guy up here. This guy wants to capture all of the Winks. I think there's 40 of them across different dream worlds. And these Winks, or these little creatures, allow people to have dreams. And this guy, he's been having nightmares forever. His name is called Nightcap, which is funny. But he's been having nightmares, and he's like, hey, if I can't dream, then no one can. So the idea is that you have to save 40 different Winks across multiple dream worlds before this guy gets to them and captures them all. So that's the idea behind this game. And yeah, it's definitely complete, which is cool. So overall with this game, I do like the boldness of them, but there's no way that they were gonna ever take on Mario and like become more popular than Mario, but still is a unique platform to pick up for the PlayStation 1. All right, next up is Wild 9. This is one of those like side-scrolling 2D, 3D type style games where you're able to like torture your enemies and go through levels. It kind of reminds me of like, the Oddworld games where it's like side-scroller 2D, 3D kind of style. But yeah, this one is definitely complete with the manual of disc. The disc looks really cool. Look at that. Really unique design on there. So happy to pick this up. Next up is Shadow Man. This is the first game. The second game is on the PS2. Yeah, really cool. One of the games takes place, I believe not games, but one of the levels takes place in Louisiana, which I think is really cool. But yeah, he has like a voodoo mask on his chest, has these like voodoo abilities. So yeah, Shadow Man. Then, next up is Shooter Space Shot from H-Tech. This is a really like cheap, very affordable shoot 'em up. It's a sleeper for sure. Like people will look at the cover and probably skip over this. I'll say this, if you ever see this game out in the wild, or if you're searching on eBay or happen to look it up, buy it. Go ahead and buy it. This is one of the cheapest shoot 'em ups that you will ever get, and it's actually a pretty good game. It's no Einhander, but it will still get the job done. So definitely be on the lookout for this. Be sure to pick it up if you come across it in the wild or even online. All right, next up is Blasto, right? This hero right here. This is an action platformer. Really cool. Complete. I do like how the cover is like lenticular. It's really awesome, really cool. But yeah, definitely happy to have this game now. I think it's going for like $50 now, which is crazy. But if you're into like those action platformer type style games with a lot of amazing, crazy humor, then definitely look out for this game. And then the next game is an RPG that's not critically acclaimed. Some people say it's really bad, but it's called Shadow Madness, and it's a 2-disc RPG. I don't know a whole bunch about it, but I do know it's $20, and it's very, affordable to pick up. If you do collect for the PS1, definitely get Shadow Madness. It is a turn-based RPG from what I do know, so definitely be on the lookout for it. You can't beat a $20 2-disc RPG on the PS1, so get it while you can. The last PS1 game is considered to be a Grail by a lot of people, and it is a shoot 'em up. If you don't know what game I'm talking about, then it is Einhander for the PS1, and it's developed by Squaresoft, which we know to be Square Enix today. And look at that, it is complete with the manual and disc. I was so happy to find this at a local retro video game store, and I was able to get it under the current market value. So definitely happy about that. Einhander, finally, for the PlayStation 1. Okay, so now I want to go through all of my PlayStation 4 pickups, starting off with the Jackbox Party Pack number 7. If you are familiar with these games, they're pretty much party games that require you to use your phone to log into a website, and you're able to play these really cool little party games. So I thought I'd pick this up. $5, it's a no-brainer, right? Happy to have this for sure. Then the next two games are the Cobra Kai games for the PS4. Funny story, I actually got rid of these two games. They were formerly in my collection, and then I found them along with this party game at a pawn shop and was able to get it $5 each. So the first game is open. The second game is actually brand new. So hey, you know, I wasn't gonna pass up on them, so now they're back in the collection. All right, next up is Saints Row. I know that this one was like halfway received, or received maybe mediocre reviews, but regardless of that, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a try and form my own opinions about it. But yeah, happy to have Saints Row for the PS4. So the next game here is actually one that has an art style that's similar to the Vanillaware games. It's a side scroller. It's one of those games where you're defending the Earth against like an alien invasion, and that's called Earth's Dawn. So if you've never seen this game before, I highly encourage you to check it out. It's pretty cool, pretty unique. Then there is World War Z Aftermath, right? This one is actually sealed, so can't wait to play this as well. Next up is Katamari Damacy Reroll, right? So this is pretty much like a remaster, either a remaster or like a remake of the Katamari Damacy game from the PlayStation 2. So yeah, happy to have this in the collection as well. Looking forward to playing this again. Now, this next game is a Digimon game, and it's called Digimon World Next Order. Found this at a GameStop. So yeah, happy to have this now as well. Another Digimon game to add to the collection. Now this next game is the first Guacamelee game, and this is the Super Turbo Championship edition. So it comes with like all the extra content. I really wish that this was like the 2-pack where you would get Guacamelee 1 and 2. So I'll be on the hunt for that. That's really the version that I want. But in the meantime, I was able to get this for a really good deal at a pawn shop. So happy about that. All right, next up is the Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Man, I'm so happy to have this in the collection now. And yeah, you get like 8 different iconic Capcom titles. I'm really looking forward to playing Power Stone 1 and 2, Project Justice as well. I mean, the Capcom versus SNK games, those go hard. So yeah, happy to have the second fighting collection from Capcom in the collection. And then the last one, the last PS4 game is a banger. I was able to find this at a pawn shop for $10 brand new, and that is Far Cry Blood Dragon. Look at that, man. Look at that. And it's sealed. It's limited run number 558. So that's how it was produced. Now you can find this game with Far Cry 3. It comes bundled in like a little pack with Far Cry 3 on the 360 and the PS3, but this is the standalone version. So happy to have this in the collection. Look forward to playing it when I do. But until then, it's going to stay sealed and in its plastic protector here. Awesome. So those are all of the PS4 games that I was able to pick up. All right, now it's time to dive into the PS5 games. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. Picked this up for $20 at a pawn shop earlier this week. No brainer, right? Happy to have that in the collection now. Destroy All Humans 2. Had to get this one because I have the first one. Death Stranding Director's Cut. I do have the original version on the PS4, but wanted to get the Director's Cut. And, you know, got it for kind of around the value that it goes for market-wise, open CIB. But nonetheless, at least I do have it now. So I can play through this and then get on to Death Stranding 2. And then these next couple games, I just wanted these games because they're mindless, like crazy fun. I wanted a game where I could just turn off my brain and just like do whatever and not think that much. So I had to get Goat Simulator Remastered for the PS4. So happy to have this in the collection. And I also got Goat Simulator 3. So those are 2 Goat games for the PS5. Next up is Tiny Tina's Wonderland. There's one of my video game hunting videos where I found this at a pawn shop and it was, you know, pre-owned, but I was able to find this at a different pawn shop, completely sealed, and got a great price for it. I think it was like $5 or $10. So happy to have this in the collection now. Okay, so the next game is Bramble the Mountain King, and in this game you play as this brother who's trying to find his sister, and he's like traversing through this like dangerous world, right? So that's what this game is about. Looking forward to playing that. The next game is The Night Witch. This is a Metroidvania, but it's also a shoot 'em up, which is interesting. It combines both. So at times, you know, you may have to explore different levels, but you can also shoot at different enemies. They'll shoot at you. So a really unique game. If you're looking for a unique experience, definitely pick up this game. Sonic X Shadow Generations. Not going to say too much about this, but happy to have this in the collection. RoboCop Rogue City. Got this for $5 at a pawn shop, so happy about that. And I could probably look at getting the other, I guess the latest or the newest RoboCop game that just released. Either it's a game or it's DLC, I don't know, but somebody let me know in the comments down below. The next game here is Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, and was able to get this off of Amazon for $20 before it went back up to like 40 or 50, something crazy like that. But yeah, was able to get it for $20. Look forward to playing this as well. Okay, so the next game, System Shock for the PS5. It's been said that this is like a prequel to the BioShock games, and this is one of those games where you are, I believe you're in like a space station. Let me see. Yep, you're in a space station and you're having to, you know, solve different puzzles and things like that and deal with this AI who's out to get you. So yeah, really cool game. I think it was originally on like the PC back in the day, but yeah, if you're into BioShock, if you're into puzzle type games where you got to explore, figure out clues and secrets and deal with this this crazy AI system that's out to get you, definitely check out System Shock. Then I had to pick up a Playtale collection, which comes with both the first and the second Playtale games in one package. This is sealed, which is cool. And it comes with like a couple of other things and, you know, inside the package, but nonetheless, happy to have this because I think I just had the first game and then I just traded it away because it was just a solo game. I really wanted this dual pack, so happy to have this in the collection now. Okay, so that's like half of the PlayStation 5 games. There's another stack that you could see probably right there that I gotta go through. Okay, so I'm gonna continue with the PS5 games here, starting off with The Messenger. And this game obviously was inspired by the Ninja Gaiden games, the classic original Ninja Gaiden games. This game at one point was very expensive and only available on the Switch. And then there was a reprint that was done. So this is the reprint that's available for the PS5 as well as the Switch. So yeah, definitely pick this up if you want to play this game. It's amazing. Okay, so the next PS5 game is Gravity Circuit. If you were into the Mega Man games or the Azure Striker Gunvolt games, then it's similar to those games, so definitely pick this up when you can. So the next PS5 game is Gal Guardians Demon's Purge. This is the first Gal Guardians game, and you can see I was able to get it for $25. In this condition, pre-owned, it retails for $60 as we speak, and if you want it brand new, you're gonna probably be paying like 90, upwards to $100+ just to even get a copy. So when I saw this for this price, it was a no-brainer for me. Definitely happy to have it in the collection. And it's getting very hard to find PS5 copy of this game. You can actually more readily find this game on the Switch easily, but for the PS5 it's getting hard. So I'm definitely happy that I found it for this price and that they didn't update it at this local toy video game store. All right. That was the first Gal Guardians game. I had to get the second one here that just came out, Servants of the Dark. So yeah, happy to have that now as well in the collection. Can play both of those games. Next up is Chronicles of the Wolf. Man, if you love Metroidvanias, Castlevania games, then you have to pick this up. You have to pick this up. Pretty much in this game, you pretty much play as this guy named Mateo, and he's on a quest to pretty much confront this beast that's been causing a lot of havoc in the world that he lives in. And this beast is very feared, but he's on a mission to battle it. Yeah, if you love the Castlevania games, if you are into Metroidvanias, definitely get this one for sure. And yeah, I mean, it's very affordable right now. I think you can buy it for like $30. So do whatever you can. Get a hold of this game if you're into Metroidvanias. And I'll also put a link to the Matt Belmont's review of this game, because he played it and did a review, and his review is the reason why I decided to pick up this game. So I'll include a link in the description box to his video review of this game. But yeah, definitely get this game when you can if you're into those type of games. Next up is Space Marine 2. You already know what it is, but yeah, glad to have it now. And then had to get the Horizon games, the first and the second game. So Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. These are pretty much the complete editions. This is a remaster of the first game, but this is a complete edition. They both come with all the DLC, so you don't have to worry about using a code, which is awesome. Happy to have both of these in the collection. Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy. I look forward to playing this. I'm probably going to play this with my wife, and her and I will probably just tag team it together. But yeah, looking forward to checking out Hogwarts Legacy for sure. So the next game is from Atlas. It's called Unicorn Overlord. Happy to have that. Then we have another cool JRPG called Fantasia Neo Dimension. What's cool about this game is that when it comes to like the backdrops in the game, they use like, I believe 150 plus handcrafted dioramas in order to use as backdrops. And it's a turn-based battle system. You know, definitely there was some involvement by a couple of key figures from the Final Fantasy series. Let's see, yeah. Hironobu Sakaguchi, and of course the infamous composer himself, Nobuo Uematsu, had their hands both involved with this game. So yeah, happy to have this in the collection now as well. And then the last game, I believe, came out recently as well, and that's Raido Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army. So happy to have this for the PS5. So yeah, those are all of the PlayStation 5 games. Okay, everyone, so I got 3 stacks to go through, so let's go ahead and get through them. Starting off with PSP Obscurity Aftermath. This is a sequel to the first Obscure game, and this takes place on a university campus. It is complete, as you can see. Next up is Kingdom in Paradise. This is an action RPG. Very affordable. You can get this for like $10 or less easily, so that's complete. This next game is a unique one. It's called Tokobot. And in this game, you play as this boy called Bolt, and he pretty much commands these little robots, or Tokobots as they're called, to transform into different things like a ladder, a propeller, and this allows him to, traverse, throughout the different levels. So it's pretty much a platformer, but you have assistance from these little robots here, and it is complete. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you do collect for the PlayStation, there is the definitive version, which is called Tokobot Plus, available for the PlayStation 2. So if you want this game, I say definitely keep an eye out for it. Of course, pick it up for the PSP, but this is the definitive version for sure on the PS2. All right, now let's get through some Switch games. Let's see, starting off with Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, Pokken Tournament Deluxe, Persona 5 Tactica, Bayonetta, Cereza and the Lost Demon. Man, was able to get this, I believe, for $5 or $10 at a pawn shop, brand new. The Messenger, I showed it earlier for the PS5. Gal Guardians Demon's Purge, had to get this so I could go handheld with the game. Gal Guardian Servants of the Dark, you know what it is. Fantasia Neo Dimension, Chronicles of the Wolf, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Raido Remastered, and the last Switch game, the very last one, some people consider this to be a Grail for the Nintendo Switch. That is Super Mario 3D All-Stars Sealed. Finally able to get this, so happy about it. I know that if you play this on the Switch 2, it actually improves the frame rate and the resolution. So the fact that this game goes for like $120 in new condition, it's probably only gonna go up from here. It's probably gonna only go up further, especially because playing it on the Switch 2 improves it. So I told myself, hey, I'd rather just get this game now than later. So yeah, those are all of the Switch games. Okay, so now to continue on to some PS3 games here. I got Need for Speed Carbon. It's complete. All these games are complete, by the way. Rayman Legends, Overlord, Raising Hell, which means I need to get Overlord 2 for the PS3. Transformers, Dark of the Moon. So happy I was able to get this. Now I gotta get, I believe, 2 more of the Transformers games on the PS3. Heavy Rain, Director's Cut. Yeah, so got that too. NBA Street Home Court with Carmelo Anthony on the front. Man, I've been looking for this game for such a long time, and now this completes my NBA Street franchise for, you know, the PS2 and the PS3. So happy to have this as well, which is awesome. Then I got Deadpool, you already know. Call of Duty World at War. I think I mentioned in one of my other videos that I want to get all the Call of Duty games for the PS3 because you can still play those games online for free. So that's a plus. And then I got the Call of Duty Black Ops collection for the PS3. It comes with Black Ops 1, 2, and 3, which is awesome. So those are all of the PS3 games. Okay, everyone, so this next stack here is a combination of DS, 3DS, Wii, Xbox 360, and OG Xbox games. So let's get started. First game is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Ring of Fate. This may be a sequel to the Crystal Chronicles game that came out on the GameCube, but I'm not entirely sure. Someone let me know in the comments down below. But I wanted to pick up this game because it actually involves some really unique mini games that involve the Muggles. So yeah, I had to get that. Next up is Sonic Chronicles, The Dark Brotherhood. In this game, I believe Knuckles is abducted by the Dark Brotherhood, so Sonic has to set off on this quest with a bunch of his friends to pretty much rescue Knuckles. And what's unique about this game is that it's probably the only turn-based like RPG type style Sonic game that I know to exist. So if you do have a DS and you're looking for a cool and unique game to own and to play, this is definitely one to look out for. And some DS games, Chibi Robo Ziplash, Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. I know this game is also available on the Wii U, but don't own the Wii U, and this is my wife's game, so I was happy to be able to get this for her, and she's definitely looking forward to playing this because she really loves the Yoshi games. So yeah, happy to be able to pick this up for her. And I think I found this at GameStop for a very affordable price, under market value. Another game that I also found at GameStop for under market value is the Star Fox 64 3D Classic. You know what it is. And then this game called Ever Oasis is an action RPG where pretty much chaos has entered in the world, and you have to team up with this water spirit. I think her name is, let's see what her name is, Esna, right? So you have to team up with Esna to take on chaos, and it's a really cool action RPG. All right, now to the Wii games. Tornado Outbreak. This is also available on the 360 and on the PS3. But the most affordable version is on the Wii. So if you do find it on the Wii, definitely get it. If you like the Katamari Damacy games, then this is similar to that, where you play as this like tornado, and as you move around the level, you get to like pick up debris and buildings and things like that, and then you grow in size. So yeah, definitely one of those type of games, but if you do find it, look out for it. For sure, it's a unique game to own and play. Okay, so the next Wii game is Ultimate Shooting Collection. This has 3 really cool shoot 'em ups. And look at that disc. It looks really cool, right? So cool. So the last Wii game here is considered to be a Grail by some people, and that is Ju-On: The Grudge. And this is a haunted house simulator, first person, and pretty much tied to the movie. So it is complete, very creepy. Look at that, super creepy, but happy to have it in the collection as well. All right, now to move on to some 360 games. I have Fable 2. I already own Fable 2 in my collection, but this is the Platinum Hits version, which includes like extra quests, different locations, more choices. So this is honestly the definitive edition for Fable 2. Remember that if you want to own Fable 2 for your collection, or you have the regular version, then you're gonna need to get this version so that you can experience the entire game for sure. Then I have Divinity 2, the Dragon Knight Saga. It includes, I believe, 2 different games in one, which is awesome. And it is also complete as well. So happy to have that in the collection. And then the last 360 game is Silent Hill Homecoming, which means that when it comes to owning all of these Silent Hill games for the 360, I think the only one that's left is the HD collection. But yeah, happy to have this, and found this at GameStop, by the way, which is cool. Okay, so time to move on to the OG Xbox here. I have Battlestar Galactica, which is, you know, not even a spin-off, but it's like directly tied to the show itself. You get to pretty much pilot all these different ships and take place in these space battles. So happy to have that. Okay, so next is Myst 3 and 4. If you're familiar with these games on the PC, they're like point and click adventure games, but these are the only two that were made for the OG Xbox. So in order to continue beefing up my OG Xbox collection, I had to pick them up for sure. So happy about that. Okay, so the next OG Xbox game is Stolen. And yeah, I mean, this game is brand new. I was able to get it brand new for an affordable price. In this game, you pretty much play as this like, you know, cyber tech thief, which she's on the front cover here. That's all I know about this game. It's a third-person game. But yeah, looking forward to checking this one out whenever I can. Then I got Ingressive Inline, which is a cool skating game. Now, this game is also available on the PS2, and it may be available on the GameCube, not entirely sure. But what's unique is that the Xbox version has some exclusives due to its ability to have high-res graphics on this platform, as well as a zoo level. You can see it says it right there on the back of the game. But yeah, happy to have this in the collection for sure. This is, you know, the definitive version if you're looking for this game. Okay, so the next couple games here are the Jedi Academy Jedi Knight games for the OG Xbox. They're actually complete as well. So I was able to pick these up earlier this week. Then I got Blood Omen 2, also complete, right? Now the next game is definitely a classic for sure, especially when it comes to OG Xbox, and that is Stubbs the Zombie Rebel Without a Pulse. Now, you can actually buy this game for modern consoles for the PS4 and for the Switch, but it's just something about just the old school cover of this game for the OG Xbox, which is really cool. You know, they say it's built with the Halo engine. You can't see that on the cover for the modern platforms. And yeah, had to pick this up, complete, happy about that. It's pretty good, in pretty good condition, I would say. So happy to own that in the collection. Now this game is unique right here. It's called Metal Arms Glitch in the System, and it's on every single 6th gen gaming console. But I had to get it for the OG Xbox because it has the best visuals out of all the consoles. So yeah, complete. Man, this one is really cool. This one's actually a dual pack, and it's Metal Slug 4 and Metal Slug 5. So if I open it up here, you'll see that there's the disc for Metal Slug 4 and then the disc for Metal Slug 5. I have Metal Slug 3 on the OG Xbox, and it says that it's an exclusive, I believe, for the company. So, you know, when I saw 4 and 5 together, I'm like, let me go ahead and get that now. I was able to get it earlier this week. Now I got a couple Grails for the OG Xbox, these last two games. The first one is called Cyanide, right here. And this is a really cool, unique shoot 'em up, exclusive for the OG Xbox. In this game, you are transporting a witch to her death. And what's unique about this game is that there's this substance called cyanide that I believe is on the ship that she gets her hands on, and this allows you to turn your dreams into like a reality. So the different levels that you play through are pretty much a direct reflection of her imagination, because you know you're trying to transport her to her execution, so she's going to try and stop you from getting where you need to go to. So really unique shoot 'em up game. I don't see a lot of people talking about this one, but this is a really cool OG Xbox exclusive to own if you're collecting for the console. So definitely happy about that. And the last OG Xbox game is Obscure. Yes, Obscure. This is probably the more affordable version compared to its PS2 counterpart, but nonetheless, this one I believe takes place in a high school versus a university with its sequel. And yeah, I'm just excited to be able to own this game fully complete and to be able to play it and to own it. So happy about that as well. All right, so those are all of those games. I'll set them to the side here. Okay, everyone, so for the last stack here, I have 3 Nintendo GameCube games to go through, and then I'm gonna end off on the iconic legendary PlayStation 2. So starting off, this is a demo disc game for the Nintendo GameCube, and yeah, it includes, you know, Sonic and Billy Hatcher. So yeah, happy to have this in the collection. You know me, I really enjoy playing demo discs and collecting them, so happy about that. Next up is King Arthur. Yeah, this is based off of the early 2000s movie, and its gameplay is similar to the Lord of the Rings games. I will say the Lord of the Rings games are definitely better for sure if you enjoy those action RPG games. But yeah, it's similar in its format, at least mechanically, to the Lord of the Rings games. But yeah, King Arthur. Banger, a Grail for the Nintendo GameCube, and that's Pokemon Coliseum. It is complete with the manual and disc and all the inserts and everything. Happy to have this in the collection now as well too. So those are all of the GameCube games. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, I'm going to end this video with all the PlayStation 2 titles. Starting off with the first one here, this is called Prism, Chapter 1, The Dark Unicorn. Now, this is regarded as one of the worst PlayStation 2 games, and it was actually supposed to be part 1 of a series of games, but it never made it that far. For me, I just found the cover to be really unique, and the backstory is actually interesting too. There's this world where there's multiple lands that are inhabited by like trolls, elves, gnomes, nymphs as well too, including unicorns. And there's this evil that inhabits all those lands and transforms those different communities into these like corrupt, devious, mutated creatures. And in this game, you play as, you know, a troll and this horse named Prism. And the idea is that you are going to use your magical abilities to rid the world and the different lands of all the evil. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to playing this one. I think a lot of people are just worried pretty much about the controls of this game. They say it could be a little bit clunky, and I think that's why it's regarded as being a horrible game. But for me, you know me, I'm gonna play the game and form my own opinion. So definitely looking forward to playing this for sure. And yeah, very cheap game, $10 or less, you could find it. Okay, next up is City Crisis. City Crisis. This definitely was probably an earlier game for the PlayStation 2 because it's one of those blue discs you can see there. But yeah, in this game you play as like a rescue helicopter. You operate it and you save civilians from burning buildings and skyscrapers. You actually extinguish different fires on the buildings itself. So it's called City Crisis. One unique thing from a collector standpoint, when it comes to the spine of this game, it's just straight up just nothing but black. This is the actual cover of the game. Usually you'll see, you know, the name of the game, or at least the title of the game, written right here with its font and everything, but it's literally just completely black and has PlayStation 2 up top with the PlayStation symbol. So from a collector standpoint, that's pretty neat, but this game has been on my list to get for a while now, and I'm definitely glad to have found it at a local video game store for a great price. So yeah, City Crisis. Next up is Arc the Lad End of Darkness. This is I believe the second PS2 game and the last Arc the Lad game for the PS2. The first one's called Arc the Lad Twilight of the Spirits, I believe, and this is a sequel to that game. So yeah, happy to have found this as well, complete. Okay, so the next game is called Shocks right here, and it's developed by EA Sports Berg. And what's cool about this arcade racer is that for every track that you race on, there's these different zones called shock zones, and if you win those shock zones, your vehicle will actually create an air wave or a shock wave that you can ride, and it'll propel you forward past, you know, those that you are competing against. So I'm definitely happy to have found this in the wild. It's complete, which is really cool, and I look forward to checking it out. Okay, so the next game is called MDK2 Armageddon. This is a sequel to MDK, which I believe you can find on the PS1 as well as the Dreamcast, and I believe the PC. I definitely need to get my hands on the first game. The only thing that I know about this game is that this guy you play as, he's teamed up with a scientist and a scientist creation, which is like a six-legged dog. So he teams up with those two to basically take on these alien forces that are trying to pretty much take over Earth. And the suit that he wears is called a coil suit, and it allows him to have different abilities and different gadgets. I believe you can like snipe like enemies from like over a mile. It has a ribbon parachute that allows him to like float over long distances. And yeah, his suit has other gadgets as well. But yeah, the idea is that, you know, you take on, you know, the alien species as this guy here, and he's working with a scientist and a six-legged dog in order to do this. So I believe in this game, you can actually switch out and play all three of those characters. If you are into over-the-top action games, open world, over-the-top action games, then you need to get your hands on MDK2 Armageddon, as well as the first game. Relatively cheap to find for sure. I think this game goes for $15 or less, and I believe the first game may be 20 or 25 on the PS1. But yeah, if you see this in the wild, definitely pick it up. This is an obscure, unique title for the PS2, so definitely get it when you can. All right, next up is a working designs title, and it's called Sylphid: The Lost Planet. This is a really cool shoot 'em up. Just want to showcase it here a little bit. Definitely be on the lookout for this one. Okay, so the next 3 games are actually light gun games, and what's interesting is that you don't need to have a gun con in order to play these games. You can just use a controller. It's just easier if you have a gun con. So I told myself, hey, just go ahead and pick up these games and then, look into getting a gun con later on in the future. So starting off with Time Crisis 2, it is complete. Ninja Assault, also complete. And the last one, which I think is probably the most unique one, is called Vampire Knight, and it is complete. I really like the manual here, as well as the discs, like the white and the red and the black just looks really clean. So yeah, those are the 3 light gun games for sure. Next up is a fan favorite. It's SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, and I have the Greatest Hits version as well as the Black Label version. Both are complete. I believe this one I found at a pawn shop for market value. This one I found on Facebook Marketplace for half the market value, so they're just both gonna stay in my collection. But yeah, excited to play this. This is probably the most sought after SmackDown game on the PS2. So if you're into the wrestling games and you want to get some of the well-known wrestling games, then definitely look for SmackDown Here Comes the Pain with Brock Lesnar on the front. All right, next up is a JRPG. It's Suikoden or Suikoden 4. I already have 3. This is 4. It's complete. So now I just need to get 5, which is the priciest one out of the 3. Next up is a game that has been released on modern consoles. So that includes like the PS5 and the Switch. And that is Phantom Brave. This is the original version that came out on the PS2. This is actually sealed. Believe it or not, it's actually relatively affordable. And since, the PS2 is like my most favorite console of all time, I don't mind collecting sealed games for it because at the end of the day, I'll be the one to open them up and play it. So it'll provide for like a really great experience. But yeah, Phantom Brave, if you're into those like tactical strategy type style RPGs, definitely look out for this one. And of course, you can once again pick it up on the modern consoles if you're looking for it. Okay, so this next game is called Spy Fiction. This is a really unique game for the PS2. It's one of those tactical espionage games. This is similar to like the Metal Gear Solid games, but anyhow, you play as a couple of different agents that are a part of this group called Phantom, right? So that's the name of their group, but the overall organization is called SEA, which stands for Special Execution Agency. And the idea is that these agents are going after this like terrorist organization that has a biological weapon. So in this game, you play, I believe that's a couple different agents here, Billy and Shayla. So you can see them right there on the back cover of the game. And each character has different abilities. They can disguise themselves as other human beings. Now, the guy, he cannot disguise himself as a female because of his voice, but for the girl, she can disguise herself pretty much as anyone, which is actually really cool. So yeah, it's a stealth tactical espionage game. You don't hear about this one a whole lot too, but it's definitely a great one to pick up just because it has some elements that are similar, but not the same, just similar to like Metal Gear Solid. So definitely pick up Spy Fiction if you do see it out in the wild. All right, the second to last game here is called Under the Skin. Man, the PlayStation 2 has some really cool, unique, quirky games, and this is definitely one of them here for sure. So in this game, you play as Cosme. He's the little blue alien here, and he's using the Earth as his testing ground, right? He's going through training. So in this game, you play as him. He can disguise himself as human beings. He can pretty much play tricks on humans in this world. And what's unique is that since this is a Capcom game, you can actually play as Nemesis and Jill from Resident Evil 3. So that's what's really unique about this game as well. So yeah, if you're into like the quirky, weird, or obscure titles for the PS2, add this to your list under the skin, and definitely watch some gameplay. It's actually interesting for sure. Okay everyone, so the last video game for this video is Silent Hill 2. This is the Black Label version. If you've seen my other pickups videos, then you know that I picked up the greatest hits version of Silent Hill 2, but I'm wanting to collect all of the Silent Hill games across all the platforms, and this is no exception. Now, I gotta open this up here because this is honestly probably one of the most cleanest Black Label Silent Hill games that I was able to come across. Look at that. There's like no indentions, no worn cover at all. Look at the back right here. And then I'll open this up, man. Look at the manual. The disc is in flawless condition, very clean. It doesn't get any better than this whatsoever. I'm happy to have this in the collection as I pursue that collection goal or journey of getting all the Silent Hill games. So yeah, until the meantime, this is definitely gonna go back in its protective case. But everyone, that's it. This is the last video game that I wanted to show for the pickups. Okay everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in to today's video where I was able to share my most recent pickups from the past few months. And if you were able to watch the video all the way through to the end without skipping anything, then you are the absolute greatest. 100 plus video games across 17 different gaming consoles. That is a lot for sure, but I definitely enjoyed sharing each and every one with you all. And if you enjoyed this type of content, I definitely encourage you to not only subscribe to the channel, but check out my other videos as well. For this video specifically, let me know, are there any games that you found unique or interesting that you want to add to your collection? Let me know in the comments down below and I'll be sure to respond. So once again, thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, I'm out.